My name is Yin, and I teach the discipline of work. Today, we are discussing the topic, how to admit you don't know something in the workplace, right? And our target are national service personnel and interns. And as you know, interns and national service personnel are trainees. They haven't spent a lot of time in the workplace. They don't know much yet. How do you know they don't know much? You find that out by asking a few questions and engaging them. And when they are engaged in that way, there'll be a lot of times that you would have to respond that you don't know. And if you have to do this consistently, how do you manage it in such a way that you don't also appear ignorant or a bit disappointing in the workplace? That is what we want to consider today. So our goal is to help you understand this situation so well so that it will help to build your credibility. You don't want to continuously sound as if you were not meant to be in the organization in the first place. Secondly, we want to help you handle it in such a way that it will maximize your learning. Not knowing something is a good thing. But not knowing that you don't know it is more dangerous, right? And then number three, we want to help you to maintain professionalism, even in a situation where you have knowledge gaps that need to be filled. But I want to start by telling you this. Every human being has the right not to know something. So don't feel pressured to know everything in life, right? There's no single human being on the surface of this earth who knows everything. We all have limitations in what we know, right? So the person engaging you in the workplace or asking you the question also has knowledge gaps that he needs to fill. So there are many things that he doesn't know, right? But this should not also make you feel too relaxed not to learn or feel irresponsible when it comes to learning things. So there has to be a way of balancing this so that you are able to learn, at the same time feel comfortable admitting you don't know something. All right. So you have the right not to know something, regardless of the pressure that society is putting on us, especially as graduates, to portray ourselves as all-knowing people. It shouldn't be something that you fall prey to going about trying to prove to everyone that you are all-knowing, because it is obvious that no human being is all-knowing, right? Okay, so we start with a few things. First, as an NSP or intern, you are new to the organization, and so you may not have a good understanding of how the entire organization works. Secondly, the things that you learned in school may not be directly applicable in that organization at the level that you found yourself. So probably the way they apply some of the things you learned in school is very different. The theoretical knowledge that you have, first of all, is even limited. You don't learn everything in the curriculum is not taught in school, right? And the things that are taught, you are human, so you don't remember everything. And then finally, the things that you remember are not even applied in the company the way that you know them. So you are highly limited in your capabilities, especially when it comes to really knowing stuff and being able to do them. Okay. So this is where you start from, all right? Understanding that you don't know many things, and that is fine. And admitting that will be a very great skill to have at this stage of your career, right? Now, another issue is that in some cases, you are in an entirely different industry where probably you haven't even learned some of the basic ideas that are used there. So for example, if you're a mechanical engineer and you are working with logistics or sales, probably you took some economics in school, you learned maybe some business structures here and there, but that may not be enough to be able to fit in seamlessly at the beginning. So it is important for you to understand that you will be limited and you will not know everything. There are a few cases where you have the idea, but it's limited, right? In that case, it is important to also make them aware that, okay, you have a basic idea of what they are asking, and so you will share that with them, but it's not something that you know very well. The situation comes when, let's say you've performed very well already, and your supervisors expect so much from you. Maybe people already feel that you are very intelligent because on your transcript or CV, you look very intelligent. And when you came in, you've actually done one or two jobs that look quite very impressive. And so there's pressure on you to appear all-knowing, right? This is another challenge that you face very often. You shouldn't find yourself pressured to be all intelligent all the time, right? Because we all have limitations. And then the final thing is bad habits of trying to be right at all times. Society has taught us, especially as graduates, that it's wrong not to know everything. And that if you don't know something, it means you are incompetent or a failure, which is not true, because there are times that we know stuff and there are times we don't know them. And that cuts across board. It's just human not to know everything. Okay, so these are some of the basic things that we need to just know and accept, that you are an intern, you are an early career worker, NSP, you don't know everything, but that is okay, because knowing that you don't know everything is a very important skill, because there are even people who are not self-aware, they don't even know what they don't know. And so for such a person, there's no even hope that he can improve to know, to be able to fill in these knowledge gaps. But you have an opportunity, you can fill in your knowledge gaps because you already know that there are things that you might not know and you need to learn. Okay, so what are the challenges? There are three basic challenges that we will have to address. First, how do you admit you don't know something without sounding disappointing or incompetent? Okay, if you are in a workplace and they ask you things today, you say you don't know them. Tomorrow they ask another thing, you say you don't know it, and it continues consistently. How do you continue to admit and be honest that you don't know the things they are asking without sounding disappointing and incompetent, which could dampen your confidence, right? And make things difficult for you in the workplace? How do you handle this? Number two, how do you handle the societal pressure to know everything simply because you are a graduate? Okay, because society, including the people around you in the workplace, probably are primed that way, that a graduate coming out from school, especially if you're a first class or second class upper student, they expect you to know much. How do you balance this pressure and the fact that you don't know and you have to admit honestly that you don't know? And then thirdly, how do you utilize the knowledge gap that you've identified or the ignorance to define knowledge gaps to fill them for professional growth? Because the gap that you've just identified that you don't know is an opportunity for growth, but how do you harness it without being beaten down by the fact that you don't know what you are doing? Now, this is the approach. The first thing to do is simply admit that you don't know it. Okay, you are asked if you know something, or you have been assigned a task. You don't put pressure on yourself to try to create something for the people to feel that you know it. You just let them know that you don't know it. But it doesn't end there. All right. Now, the reason why it is good to admit this is because it is the first point that will open the door for you to learn. If you feel that you don't know it, but you can't admit that you don't know it, you are not giving yourself the opportunity to learn, right? So it is important that you admit that you don't know it. That then opens the door for you to fill in the knowledge gap. But this is the most difficult step for every human, because we all have some pride in us, and it makes us feel that we should appear all knowing, or at least know what we are doing. Okay, so if you are able to go across this hurdle, then you are in the best place to be able to learn. Then the second thing you do after admitting you don't know it is to ask the person who is asking the question if they have some insight to share. There are times that you have some basic idea of what they are asking. You can just let them know, oh, I have some idea, but I'm not too sure if I know this very well. Then you share the idea you have, and then you ask the person if they have some more insights they can share with you. Okay, then they share their insight with you, and you learn something from that. Okay, but it doesn't end there. Because there's no human who is all-knowing, and we can't take the words of people just because they say just because they say they know the thing. We have to go a step further to go and learn it. So let's say you ask someone about how you operate a pump. Maybe they ask you how you operate a pump in the workplace, and you have no idea. So you just send the question back to the person and say, okay, please, I've never operated a pump. I don't know too much about pumps, or probably I don't even know anything about pumps. Do you have any insight to share with me? And the person goes ahead and shares a few things to you about how a pump is operated. That is a great place to start, but it doesn't end there. So the third step is for you to actually go and learn more about how pumps are operated. So you can learn this in books, online. I mean, check some videos. You can learn. You can even take a course in that. And then once you are done, the fourth step is to give feedback to the person who asked you the question. Okay. Now, these four steps are very important. First, admitting that you don't know it. Secondly, getting some basic insight or requesting some sources or basic ideas from the person asking. And then third, going to actually learn the thing. And then fourth, giving feedback to the person. It's not a long process. All right. If you do this a few more times, you see that it becomes a habit. But if you go this way, you give the person an idea that you don't know the thing, but you are willing to learn. You are not a lazy person. You have just not been exposed to what they're asking you to do, but you have the potential to learn almost anything and understand it. And giving the feedback tells the person, hey, when they ask you something and you don't know, it doesn't mean much, because you are someone who will go and find out anyways, and you will come back knowing it. So in that way, you keep your head high. You don't feel beaten down, and you are not afraid when you are at work, because anything they ask you, if you have the idea, you can approach it. If you don't have the idea, they can always trust that you will learn it. And people will like to teach you because they will see that you are someone who wants to learn. All right. So here are the benefits. The benefits of going through this process is, first of all, it will make you credible. You will be honest, right? You'll be able to admit that you don't know something. And then secondly, it will inspire growth, because when you don't know something, you ask for them to teach, and you also go and learn. You'll be filling in these knowledge gaps, and over a period of time, you will become very competent at knowing so many things. The fact that they asked you that question means it is important. Even if it's not important in that organization, it will become important in future. So use the opportunity to fill it in and add some tools or new ideas to your toolbox, and that will come handy in the near future. Number three, it will make you appear professional, because a professional basically want to learn, and you don't want to find yourself in a situation where all the time you just admit that you don't know, and it ends there. Okay. And then number four, it will give you a peace of mind. You walk around confident, healthy in terms of your mindset and your mental health. You will not feel pressured to know everything. and it will help you to develop genuine understanding and growth, right? The reason why many people are not growing in the workplace is because they feel pressure to know stuff. They compare themselves to their colleagues, they compare themselves to senior members and people around, and they just feel that everyone knows something. Even sometimes your classmates, they know things that you don't know. It's fine. You also know things that you don't know. But if you feel pressured to know things because society expects you to know, you tend to become a liar, and you would always say that you know the stuff, but you don't know it. And when you explain it, people will know that you don't know it, and they will laugh in their head. Some may correct you, some may not. And so you will stay where you are for a very long time. But if you admit that you don't know it and you seek help, usually you will get the right help from people, and they will be able to help you. These things will help you. But if there's one thing you take from this class today, it should be just one thing, that you have the right not to know everything. Just like every other human being on this earth doesn't know everything, right? Thank you very much for joining. I hope that this session was useful to you. God bless you for joining us today. Bye-bye.